Have you ever had someone say or do something super mean and you were so shocked you just kind of started to defend the self? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today's topic is pushing poison. I just did a video on empathy vampire where an entity, irrespective of what their genitalia is doing, has too much water in the system and they begin to drown in their own waters. They begin to drown in their own emotional intelligence. You can have too much water. Sometimes you need cold logic and your water, your empathy is causing you to suffer. And you don't have to be in a constant state of depression and suicidal ideation. You can also go, oh, I'm going to decide not to care about this. That's always an option. Oh my God, I've been intensely caring about something that really actually doesn't affect my life that much. Let me stop watching the news or let me stop caring about this, right? And so today I want to talk about when the air is too high. You have too much mental energy, less emotional intelligence, less watery development, and less empathy to provide. Some people could do with a little less empathy. Some people could start practicing it all. Empathy is wonderfully something that can be taught. We can teach it to children, and I highly recommend doing that so that we have a future that has heart-centeredness in the work that they do. I do believe many cultures have been lost in time due to a lack of balance of these two quadrants of IQ and EQ. Intelligence, actual IQ intelligence, or having a high airy quadrant without a lot of water may cause someone to be very cold, very direct, very unfeeling in the way they deliver things. And it also can lead to having a lack of empathy or emotional intelligence can lead to, qualities like a psychopath lacks empathy, for example. And many people that are in high positions in our world are psychopaths. This is it's called B cluster type personalities, and many people in high positions actually have extreme mental disorders. Maybe you experience it in your job or something. So what I want to talk about is how people sometimes push poison. I once had a guy tell me he didn't do it himself, but he knew several guys that they would go into a bar, go into a club, hit on a woman, give her 2 compliments, and then slam her, give her something that made her feel like dirt, and keep talking to her. And they said 9 times out of 10, the woman would keep garnering this man's attention because she would want to resolve the slam. Why? He was so nice, he was so polite, he was so charming. Why was he suddenly rude? Let me see if I can fix that. I don't want him to think ill of me. That's called psychological warfare, and it's psychotic. Get a prostitute. Go get a massage with a happy ending. You know what I mean? You could also just compliment a woman or stay focused in the positive. So people can sometimes do things with their intellect because they want something from you. They want to have a desired aim, and it can all be based in the logic of strategy in the mind. It can absolutely lack any heart in the paradigm. An experience I've had many times, perhaps you've had it too, is that a person that has a tendency to cheat, so this is a person that identifies as monogamous when they could identify as polyamorous and be in integrity in their life. Integrity is something I'd always recommend having and holding, because when you have it and hold it, you get to keep it forever, and it's a powerful thing to hold. But those that lack integrity and say they identify monogamous but sleep around all the time will often be extremely jealous and very controlling around the partner that they're convincing that they're monogamous. So if you've ever been with someone that's super jealous all the time, always, any person I've ever been with that was super, super, super jealous was cheating on me. I had a gent that was constantly jealous. He's like, everyone wants to sleep with you. And it's like, no, dude, I'm a regular broad. You know what I mean? They're looking at Instagram girls that are probably 12. No. But he had this constant jealousy issue. When we split up, 1 month later, he was married to a woman that worked at a bar within walking distance of our home. You think I don't know the math on that? Clearly you were going there and talking to this lady and had built a strong enough development that at the point we broke up, you were ready to marry her within a month. So I have found that people that cheat tend to be real nervous about you cheating. And you don't have to let people push poison into you. I just want to elucidate that there's another option when people take their poisons. And when Heather says poison, I mean those toxic ways of being, those toxic expressions that perhaps they were a child, they watched their father cheat, whatever the story is. We can see where the root was. We can tug at the root and understand and have empathy for why it's there. But it doesn't mean that we need to be privy to them pushing that poison into our vessel, into our eyes, into our life, into our experience. We can also say, oh no, I don't do this. I don't do this. You're either going to trust me and be my lover because I'm a deeply trustworthy being, or I find your behavior very suspicious to constantly be questioning me as if I'm suspicious. It sounds like your ego's denying that you're suspicious and you're projecting it onto me, because what the ego denies, it will project. It will project and push. Whatever poison the ego holds, whatever shadow you have that you have not integrated. Jung came up with the term of shadow integration. And shadow is, that's those aspects of the selves that we deny. I'm not a cheater, you're a cheater. You know what I mean? It's those parts of the self that we deny, that we project onto others in our paradigm, because the ego is trying to reconcile that lie. And so shadow integration work is where we actually look at the truth of our being. And we may want to change labels. Oh, wait, I'm not monogamous, I'm polyamorous. Let me just own this and be in integrity and sleep with who I want, because that's how I want to be in this life. You know what I mean? We can make new choices. But irrespective of what anyone else chooses, I as an individual can choose to not have someone push their poison into me. I always say I'm not a wastebasket. Just because you're throwing trash doesn't mean I'm a wastebasket trying to catch it around you. You're welcome to throw it, but throw it away from me. I got stuff to do, you know? And so one of the things you can do when someone is pushing poison, being vitriolic, vicious, mean, cruel, saying ugly things, is you can stand in the truth of how you want to walk in your character through the garden of life. And you can stand tall in your sovereign, autonomous self. You can stand in your self-reliance, self-esteem. You can stand in your self-authority and go, oh, I'm sorry, I don't engage with people that talk to me that way. I don't choose that. I don't know if you want to be friends or if you want to be lovers or if you want to be engaged, but I'm not a wastebasket, so people don't talk to me that way. I'm sorry that you're struggling. Do you need therapy? Do you need alone time? You know, I don't engage in this way with people. That's not something I do. Oh, I'm a deeply trustworthy person. So if you're not willing to be my lover and understand that I'm trustworthy and continue to witness that as you walk hand in hand with me through this life, then by all means, drop my hand and get away from me. You know, it's often the ego's desperate need to be approved of, to receive validation from somebody that's already out of integrity themselves, that starts to cause this receptivity, this receptacle for poison and trash and waste to go into you where it doesn't belong. It's not your problem. It's not your source issue. You have your own issues to work on. I highly recommend doing your own shadow integration work. My brother-in-law, if you're blessed enough to know Braxton, may grace and peace descend upon him 100-fold to what he gave humanity, which was much. He used to do something really beautiful that I love. And I feel like all people could practice this. It's a very powerful practice. He would very simply say nice, or he would say not nice. So if me and my sister were play fighting or something, Braxton would be like, not nice. You know what I mean? And he'd be like, okay, sorry. And he'd be like, nice. You know? And sometimes we just need to break it down that simple. So you can also always respond with a simplicity to any complexity of ugliness that is coming from any entity around you. If someone is doing something unkind, untoward, whatever it is, you can have empathy for the line of poison and the root of poison that they walk with that flush that up in their field. But you can also just go, not nice. And if they keep it up, you can just, not nice. When you hit nice, feel free to give me a call. I'm leaving. I'm not trying to sit in a room with not nice. Or we can have a heart-to-heart emotional talk about what's going on with you. If you want to do that, we can do that too. You know, but I'm not just receiving not nice from people today. I'm doing nice. I'm doing fun. I'm doing happy. I'm doing fun times. I'm doing good. I'm doing like, yay. I'm doing ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? You're doing so I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And so we don't have to insult and be like, you're such a jerk, and blow up. We don't have to get triggered. We don't have to take it in. The question Heather Feather is asking you today is, are you choosing to be receptive to other people's toxicity? I didn't want to get public and have videos of myself. I got a lot of Scorpio. I love to hide. And I'm doing it. And I'm aware that trolls or people could come and say ugly things to me. But I'm also super aware that I can say, A, that's not nice, or B, everything you just said to me is about your consciousness, not mine. May you heal, may it be easy, right? We don't have to take in things that don't serve the path we want to walk and the character we want to be in this life. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. Like and comment there. Heather Feather always loves your thoughts. I'm moving.